Two cousins enjoying the seas off the coast of Mexico when the jaunt turns serious. Washed up on a barren island, they wait for rescue.
You'll be home in time for dinner.
Like some cruel joke, just 12 miles of sea lie between them and safety. But this sea is impossible to cross.
Hammerheads are one of the few species of known man-eaters.
And the boats do not come. Exposed to searing temperatures, without water they have just days to live. Their survival becomes a test of endurance.
I realized that we could actually die on this island.
After a tiring 10-hour drive through the desert, Mark Sorensen and Rob Rusnak have almost reached the coast. From here, these young adventurers will begin the sailing trip of a lifetime.
Hey, how about a good song? Something nice. Something appropriate to this beautiful Mexican landscape.
Driving down, we were joking, lighthearted, excited, all the things that you would think you would be when you're heading into an adventure.
La cucaracha, la cucaracha.
No.
Ya no puedo caminar.
Don't.
I was really excited. I had all these thoughts of how this was all gonna happen. So it was very exciting.
Well, if you're gonna do it, sing it like you mean it.
You sing it with
la
me.
cucaracha, la cucaracha.
Ya no puedo caminar.
La cucaracha, la cucaracha.
Their long drive from San Diego will end at their launch point, Bahia de Los Angeles. It's on the eastern side of the Baja Peninsula and is part of Mexico. The cousins' plan is to sail round-trip across the Sea of Cortez on a 16-foot catamaran, a dangerous voyage at the best of times. Their nights will be spent camping on the myriad of islands across the sea. Until they finish the 160-mile round trip, no one is expecting to hear from them.
Wow. Incredible.
Beautiful.
When you see this placid blue of the Sea of Cortez stretching out in front of you and these dramatic islands coming out of the sea, seeing that was fantastic. Wow, we're here, this is what we were looking for. It's begun.
Mark loved the idea of doing this crossing in such a small vessel because it was more challenging. He doesn't think probably anybody had ever tried it in a 16-foot cat before. Mark's my cousin. I basically met him for the first time as a young teenager. He was about 14 years older than me, almost like a big brother, but we would get together to do a camping trip here and there.
Right in the middle of the cat?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Rob was about 26 years old at the time. Not so much a little brother or a little cousin, but more a peer-to-peer partner. The kind of adventure that we're often looking for borders between Weekend Warrior and Death Wish and that gray area between those things.
Ready?
Yes. Thank you.
Is baby gonna hold out?
There's too much on it.
Rob did see me as a mentor in terms of teaching him the basics of sailing.
Doesn't sound good. I mean, you're the sailor, but too much weight on a boat. Boat sinks, right?
Boat won't sink. Look, let's leave the wetsuits and the thick clothes. It'll be hot the whole time.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm gonna try and spread the weight out a bit. See if it helps. You give me a hand with this water?
Heavy?
About 80 pounds.
The 8-gallon tank is almost like another person, especially when you consider the other gear that we had tied down.
It's perfect sailing weather. But the winds across the Sea of Cortez are notoriously difficult to predict, adding a twisted thrill to the journey.
I love sailing because of the sense of freedom, of being out on the open water. There's also an element of speed, because once you get going on a catamaran, it's a feeling of like flying.
Just enjoy the ride. Yeah! We're gonna fly across the Cortez. What happened to the wind?
No, it happens. I read about it. 60 miles an hour to zero like that. I think it's because we're like in a canyon. The wind rattles down here like an alley, and then woof, it's gone.
In the dead calm, the heat builds to over 120 degrees, and there's no chance to cool down in this sea.
Watch out for hammerheads.
You mentioned sharks, you didn't mention hammerheads. Weren't hammerheads like the psychopath of the shark world?
Would you be at peace with yourself if you had a head shape like that?
The Sea of Cortez is not a place to be taken lightly. I had seen a documentary about hundreds of hammerhead sharks moving through this part of the Sea of Cortez. Hammerheads are one of the few species of known man-eaters in the world and are known to be aggressive. This is something we want to keep our eyes open for.
You imagine catching one of those on the end of your line?
Yeah, maybe drag us into the nearest island. Be like Jaws.
3 hours later, the wind picks up as swiftly as it disappeared. But the dead calm was a warning, a forerunner to something much more sinister on the horizon.
Don't like the look of those clouds. Something's kicking up over there.
Coming out of the north was some kind of a squall or weather front. So we were kind of worried that, wow, what if this is something big rolling through that was not expected and that's going to be here for a while.
We might have to forget about the crossing and head back. What? We might have to. Look, small savage storms. Squalls. If we get caught in one, we're sitting ducks. I'm sorry, Rob. I'm turning around.
Look. I think we got water on the portside pontoon.
A small crack has opened up in the pontoon as it pounds the waves. There's no way to bail, and the catamaran starts to become dangerously unstable in the squall.
One big gust of wind, which was probably approaching about 60 or so miles per hour, hit us. We ended up in the water, tangled up in the sheets, with tattered sails in the water and, rigging everywhere. I thought, oh my God, this thing is going to crush my head. And so I thought for sure this boat's going to take my head off. Absolutely, I was scared.
Is it me? Is it now really cold in here? Let's get the cat back up.
We were both getting very cold, on the verge of hypothermia. I was shivering uncontrollably. I was very uncoordinated.
With the shredded sails and stricken pontoon, the catamaran keeps capsizing as Rob and Mark battle with the waves, their gear and the water barrel drift away.
Everything we're doing, everything we're trying is going wrong. And I said, well, what do we do now? Just die?
And when he said that, that brought in basically a flood of emotion where you're going, this could be it. And what a ridiculous way to go.
They're weak, and in this storm, a 12-mile swim to the mainland is out of the question. With no boat, the threat of being eaten by hammerheads is now all too real. Using every last ounce of energy they possess, Mark and Rob head for the closest island. It's now their only hope of survival.